And we're back. Elvira's in the garage again. So I've got exhaust manifold gaskets. I've got exhaust donut gaskets. I've got a universal exhaust kit. I've got two mufflers, and I've got valve cover gaskets. So what I'm going to start off doing is I'm going to get her up in the air. I'm going to work on getting the exhaust off. Get that out of my way. I'm going to make a couple marks on it because I got to use the upswept pieces that go to the manifold. I got to reuse those, and they're solid, so it's not a problem. It could be a little weird on the passenger side. I may have to figure something weird out. I don't know yet, but it's going to be kind of tight. I can show you when we get underneath there. And then the valve cover gaskets are for the 1/6 roller rockers. So I'm going to do it all at once. It won't tell me exactly what the 1/6 roller rockers do, but it'll be pretty close because it's got a pretty open exhaust on it right now. The dual exhaust could actually slow it down a little bit because it'll be more restrictive, but shouldn't be. Because right now I got a 2-into-1 of a really leaky system. So I'll have straight through two duals, hopefully, when I'm all done. And so it should flow better. But yeah, so I'm going to get the 1/6 roller rockers on it. I'm going to get the exhaust on it. And I'm also going to pour out the exhaust manifolds when I get them off. And I'm not going to pour them a bunch, but there's little bump stops in there, is what I call them. They're little bumps. They're supposed to prevent back pull when you let off the accelerator real fast. I don't care about that. I want it to flow out. If it pulls a little back when I'm off the accelerator, so be it. I want it to flow as good as I can. I don't think I can fit headers on this car. And quite frankly, ram horn manifolds are pretty decent. Unless I get a really, really good header, you're probably talking like a 10 horsepower game. So I'm just going to fight with these ram horns a little bit and see if I can make it flow a little better. So anyway, get at it. Okay, this is Elvira's current exhaust. We got one very loose and shaky pipe going on here because it leaks up here. I've got a piece patched right here, hose clamped around a hole. Okay, this piece bolts on, it's loose. And then I run into the good pipe, which is this and this, but you can see how it's necked down right here. So I haven't measured this yet. I'm going to 2 1/4. I'm hoping I can get this dude off, and I might have to cut it up here and then put an elbow on it. But yeah, I need those pieces on up. So, and then you can see what I'm talking about on this passenger side. See how it comes down. I don't know if I can cut it here because of this. It's got to be up above this, so I don't know if I can cut it here, flip it, slide up and keep myself high enough, or if I want to have to bring that dude on over and come down with duals and then cut them across somewhere through here. The factory come down with a single here and then come through I think this hole and went over the drive shaft, or yeah, I think over the drive shaft. And then you can see the clamp over here and on out. But yeah. Pretty good. So anyway, all right. And then sometime or another, I got to address this leaky power steering. I got little leaks everywhere on it, but I'll get to it. So I'll show you. Let's see here. So I got one of these guys off, the other two broke, and then I've got two broken ones on this side. But look at this guy. You see that last guy back there? I don't know where to get the light to try to help you guys out, but maybe I need to downgrade it a little bit. But see him? He's behind that pipe. And the only way you can get to that guy is a wrench, and not a very long one. He is going to be a son of a gun because he's going to be cooked in there and tight and want to break. But he's going to be hard to get a hold of to break. So this one might take me a little bit.
All right, the exhaust is off. It's time to try to get all my exhaust manifold bolts loose. That's not one. Man, that's a cover bolt. I don't know. So these will be fun. So the exhaust manifold bolts breaking is one problem. You know, they're all laying up here. Broke several of them. I think only one of them come out, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, one of them come off. And then I also have to take the exhaust manifold off this side, which has extra bolts, extra brackets, and all that. And I have to do all this without breaking a head bolt. So that's going to be the fun part. So I can either put you guys on high speed and let you watch and see the massive fast head movements if I break a bolt, or I can just go at it. So I might put you on high speed for the first one to see how it goes. The second one, I don't know. Depends on how long it takes to get the first one off. So, all right. Some little divots and humps and all that. That's what I'm gonna try to smooth out a little bit. It's not so bad here in the middle. I might open this up some, making it bigger to match the gasket. I might do the same on these guys, but I'm not gonna get crazy. I just wanna I wanna get rid of that bump. There's a bump right there in the back. So you got that dip. See that dip down? Right behind that dip down is a bump. And you know, anytime you can make stuff flow smoother, you're going to gain power. And then my mic dies. So there was a shield covering that side. I couldn't get the screws out. I don't know if you see me bend it in order to get to that back bolt. That bolt was covered by the shield. I don't know why there wasn't an access hole or something at least, you know, but that shield would not go back on. Those guys are in pretty good shape, but I'm going to end up cutting them off. And once I cut them off, I will drill them out and install new studs. Down inside, you can see a couple little casting marks, and I'm going to grind those casting marks out too. They're not horrible, but you know, just trying to clean them up a little bit and get as much flow out of them as I can without just going nuts. I could go nuts, but I'm not going to. So, yeah, that's that part.
Hello, Miguel. Hello, Mr. Bill.
if you line the gasket up, you can see the edges. You know, I'm not trying to make a big port or anything like that. I marked them with a little bit of marker, but basically I'm just going to try to clean it up, round it out, taper it a little bit so those edges aren't there. And you can see I've already taken some of that hump off there. I'm going to try to take some more of that off. There's a little dip down right there. I don't know if you can see that dip down. So that little dip down, I'm going to try to smooth it out a little bit more and make a better transition there. The center ports are pretty open. I mean, all they need is trimmed up around the edges and they'll be in pretty good shape. And then this port's the same as the other one. It's just got the little dip down in it. So I've already took some off that hump. I just need to take care of the dip down a little bit and smooth out the transition. And this one will be done. Not perfect by no means. I'm not trying to make like the best flowing heads in the free world out of it or nothing, because it's not going to happen, or manifolds, but just trying to get something a little better than what I got. So I'll work on it. So I thought this might be the best thing to do so you can see the difference in the two. This one matches the gasket almost perfect. This is the original. So, I mean, you can see it's quite a bit bigger. When the gasket's laying on there, it doesn't look like it's a whole bunch. It needs a whole bunch, but when you get them next to each other and you see exactly what that little bit does here and there, you're like, wow, that looks a lot bigger. But then you can kind of see down in the ports there where I kind of, hard to see in these because they're so dirty, but can't really tell. But it's not perfect. I wasn't trying to make it baby smooth, because that's not the whole goal here. The big part of the goal is opening this up and then trying to smooth down that bump a little bit so it's not such a big bump. There's still a little dip there, but I'm not going to get rid of all of it because I don't feel like spending that much time. And just that little bit will help some. So anything I can do to help her flow a little bit is good. So there we go. One exhaust manifold done. All right. So I got them ported out like I want. You can see right on the edge of the gasket. That's all you can do. That's all the bigger it can go. And you can go all the bigger you want to, but edge of the gasket, that's it. You can kind of see in there a little bit. I can't really, so right here is a little hump. It used to be a bigger hump, so that's better. In here, it's just pretty well open, so there's nothing to do there. This one was the same way. It has a little hump. That one, same way, had a little hump. And then, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but there were some casting marks down in there that were just big old bumps. So I cleaned all those guys up, and that pretty well took care of it. So anyway, clean the head up, and these guys are ready to go back on. So here I'm just showing you the manifolds on. Got both sides on. Wasn't really too big a problem getting the gaskets down in and all that. They look better after I painted them, of course. But I didn't want to go any fancy paint. It's just 2000 degree flat black paint. They're exhaust manifolds. If I wanted to put some chrome ones on or something, that'd be different. But I don't want to say I don't. I just don't have the money for them. So anyway, I've kind of blown all my play money on this here lately. But anyway, yeah. Let's move on. All right. So Elvira is up in the air. I'm in a coat and a hat. The other day I was in a t-shirt. So lovely Indiana weather went from 20s to 70 to 20s all in about 5 or 6 days. So yeah, it was a good time. So fighting the cold, fighting the heat. I think that was part of my microphone issue, maybe not. I think because I've been leaving it in the garage and it was just cold. So here is the bottom side of my manifolds. I haven't put the studs in yet because I wanted to kind of hold the pipe up and fit it up and get an idea of how I wanted it without having to fight the studs too. I did the same thing on this side. This side's going to be a little bit bare because you have all the steering linkages in the way, And I may have to take both sides down the passenger side. I was not sure about that at this point, because trying to get around the steer linkage, then you've got the oil filter, then you've got the transmission linkage, and then you got a piece of webbing in the X-frame that would be in the way. So I was thinking I might have to take them all the way down the passenger side, and if I did that, I'd put both mufflers right here in this spot, and may even exit out in front of the rear tire when I come through there. I mean, my goal would be to go over the axle and kick it out both sides. I don't really want straight back. I kind of want them kicked out. But if I brought them out the side, they would come out right there. It wouldn't be a perfect thing, but you know, because one, they'd be going underneath the frame instead of tucked up higher than the frame, but you know, they'd be okay. They'd be out of the way enough, but I'd prefer to take them on out the back if I can. I may have to trim up the webbing, and if I can get it over top of the rear end, then I got to deal with the track bar a little bit. You know, I mean, technically the track bar shouldn't move, so they'd ought to be able to set really close to it. But we'll see what happens. It's not going to be too bad. It's coming around. So here's my kit. You got 4 90s, 4 45s, 4 U's, and 4, I say 4-foot pieces of pipe. They're actually like 46 inches or something like that. And so far, it's pretty good. I mean, they got one end is swelled, so you know they fit together real nice. And then this kit was $106 from Speedway Motors, and for $106, it was a bargain. So not too bad at all. It come bagged up. It arrived on a really rainy day. Nothing was rusted. So yeah, coming out pretty good. The U's should go over my axle. I'd like to have a bigger spread on that, but you know, I think it'll work. It's just gonna take some time to mess with it a little bit and get it set up. So, but yeah, we're getting ready to piece together some pipe. Okay, so here is one of the down tubes. This is the one that had the crossover piece in it that I had stuck open. You can see, I mean, even though it's open, it takes up some room and cuts down on some flow. So getting rid of that is going to help some performance too. This is your donut gasket, little tapered gasket. You're tapered on your pipe, you're tapered on your manifold. It just comes up and clamps and pushes together. So that's what gets your seal up there at the pipe. I wish I could have got new pieces there, but you know, those are pretty solid yet, so they'll get me by for a while, and it'll be okay. So poor man, poor means, man. I'm always on a shoestring budget when it comes to this stuff, you know. So I got my studs in. You can see them up in there. I might have to use some spacers on that side because they come long, because they're expected to have that piece in there that I'm doing away with, the little diverter valve, to make it cross over when it's cold. And yeah, so it shouldn't be too bad. I'm getting ready to hang the guy up. This guy's getting thrown away, and it'll be a great day. So let's get at it. here's what I'm looking at for the one pipe. I got it stuck together. Coming through, setting in the muffler. My mufflers are going to need some adapters. They're 2.5 inch. When I read the description of the pipe, I was thinking it said the inside diameter was 2.25, the outside was 2.5, and I'm pretty sure it did, but it's not that way. So there I was pointing to the vacuum modulator that would be in my way if I run the pipes both down the passenger side. I've got to work around that. So it's all just trying to figure out where my pieces go. So everything's just kind of stuck up there and hanging right now. You can see the gap on the pipe where I need adapters. I find a really good way to do this. I think it's great. I may never buy an adapter again when I do exhaust, so you'll see that later. But so far, it's going pretty good. So anyway, that big gap will be taken care of with my little homemade adapter later. But after I find a couple adapters. But anyway, getting off topic again. That's what happens. I do that a lot. Just kind of showing you the way I've got it kind of thought about, fabbed out, hanging there. Going over the exhaust or over the rear end. I don't really like the sharp 90. I would like for it to be a little better, but you know, again, $106. Not too bad. So, debate on how I want to kick it out there. I think it'll end up something like that. So here is my passenger side pipe, the vacuum modulator that will be in the way. I've got a piece of pipe stuck on the driver's side. I said passenger side. That's the driver's side pipe coming across to the passenger side. Got a piece of pipe stuck up there, kind of trying to fab it out, trying to decide which way is the best way to run this. There just doesn't look like a great way. I think I could trim it up and get it up there out of the way, because you can see in this picture that pipe hangs down just a little bit, so if the steering misses it, it should miss this one too. But we'll see. We'll see as we go on. And then that webbing needs cut out in order to get the pipes to match up. It just doesn't have a very big hole. When you look at the other side has already been cut out from the factory. And later gets trimmed up some more. So yeah. Oh, I was explaining how the exhaust come down in a single and then crossed over right there in that big hole, so you come out in duals. But But yeah, hopefully this is the last of the dubbing. We'll see. So I bought this fancy little adapter because I couldn't get the exact right one. See, this is 2 1/4 OD. I split my pipe a little bit, drove it down in there. It's down about a 1/2 inch past some cracks, and now hopefully all welded in place. So one, I need a welding helmet. I gotta find one. I haven't used my welder in who knows when. So I'll be back. So you can see that's pretty ugly, but it's little spot welds all the way around because that exhaust pipe is kind of thin, and that's about all you can do is spot weld around. But you know, it's on there, it won't leak, so that's good enough for me. It's under the car, nobody can see it. So yeah, pretty? No. Work? Yes. So the plan was to always give this one a clamp. I got this one welded all the way around. I've got this adapter welded all the way around, clamped onto the muffler here. Clamped onto the muffler here. This adapter is a little different size, so I had to split the muffler a little bit, but got it all clamped up. This adapter's welded on, and then this piece is sitting here. So now I have to work on over the axle, but I'm getting there, little by little. All right, so I got that piece hooked up. I think I'll clear here when I'm steering. I got him welded up here. My welds are getting a little better, but not great. I have the muffler clamped here, so that means I have 2 mufflers on now. So I'm doing good there. Looking at the other side, the exhaust pipe is about against this hole, but it needs to come over here. So I'm going to notch this dude out a little bit, and that should give me the clearance I need to get my exhaust pipe in there. And I'll just keep working back. I'm just kind of trying to fab it up like the other side, and we'll see how everything goes, but I'm getting there. So little by little, man. I had a lot of mic issues on this episode, and it's really starting to bum me out. I'm really getting ticked off with these mic issues. I really need to just break down and buy a camera with a mic built in or something attached to it to use for this stuff, but I don't know. But anyway, maybe. I don't know what. I don't know if my mic just started running dead, because it's got nothing that tells me that the mic runs dead. So I apologize for the dubbed in spots in the beginning of this video, because there'll be some, but hopefully they sound okay and intelligent and all that, and as intelligent as I can make it anyway. So anyway, getting somewhere. I could physically sit on the ground and run it right now, and it would be quiet-ish. So getting there, but anyway, hopefully before the night's over, I got a pretty good plan on how to get it the rest of the way. I didn't shut off, did it? Did not. Still didn't. All right, somebody's going to say I'm a complete moron. Somebody's going to say I'm a genius, but I split a piece of pipe and put on this pipe, okay? I'm going to weld it here, especially this bottom section here, but I'll weld it around here. It's hard to show you and do this, but I'll weld it around the base, and I'll weld it here to fill up any leaks. And then I slid another piece of pipe over top of that piece of pipe. So I'll weld that dude around, and then I got this little bitty piece cut right here, and I'll put him in, and that's where my clamp will go on the muffler, because this will slide inside the muffler. Then I'll clamp this dude down, and this will fit tight and work better than this stupid thing that I paid $6 for. This, I couldn't get the exact size I wanted, so you can see I was trimming on him. He would have to smash down to fit inside the muffler, and this guy would have to be split out to fit over top of the pipe or butt welded to the pipe. So instead I decided, what if I split pipe? And I thought, how big's one piece? One piece was a little bit loose, so I split another piece and got it shoved on there, and yeah, that is exactly what I need. So is it perfect? No. Will it work? It will. That's I like it. I think it'll be fine. So you know, anyway, just a workaround, man. Sometimes you got to do the workarounds you can do. So this one I can do. So there we go. Working around, working on my exhaust, getting her done. I mean, even with the brackets and clamps and all that, I think I'll have like $225 in this exhaust with the mufflers and everything. So I'm going to be pretty pleased if it doesn't sound like absolute dog shit, and you know, works fine at all, because the old exhaust was just done. So so yeah, I don't know what it cost me to take this in the shop around here and get it done, but I saved a bunch of money by doing this myself, and it's not perfect, but I'll keep plugging away. We're getting there. Sorry about that. So I needed another 90. So I took one of these guys, cut that off of it, added this to it. So now I have a big old long 90. So that should work just fine. And I know you're looking at that weld, you're going, that's really not a very good weld, but you know, on aluminized exhaust and a little cheap welder, it's a little Clark MIG, that's not too bad. I can live with that. It's getting better. But anyway, so yeah, took my spare loop, some spare pipe, made a 90. Now I got to work on getting fit up to the back side of the rear end. All right, let's take a peek here. So pipe, I'm gonna back you off a little bit. Boink. So comes down through the X-frame, muffler, comes down up over the rear end, comes out, both sides angling out. Yeah, it's on. Let me get it on the ground and go get the keys and let's see what she sounds like. All right, getting in her here. You know, the nicest thing about this is I did have a welder, but that whole kit right there, you could have bolted the whole thing together. So the next time you're looking for an exhaust for your car and you're like, man, can I do this? You can. I did have some tools that maybe you won't have. If you just have a hacksaw, it's going to take you longer because you got to cut some pipe. So the little battery sawzall made a great find, or buy, I guess I should say. But yeah, so fingers crossed that she sounds good and there's no leaks or anything. I bet she wants to start. She doesn't even sound like she's hitting yet. There she goes. I like the sound. It sounds pretty good. There's going to be some smoke from oils melting off and such. She should idle right there. It's a nasty day. I say we take her for a drive. Well, I got her this far, backed out of the garage. That's the problem. I only have reverse. My exhaust is hitting my linkage. I thought I had it enough to clear. Fudge. So now I got to figure out where it's hitting at and get it back in the garage and get it up in the air and see if I can fix it. Yay. It's always realized after the fact that this is the stuff I should leave you guys on for. So since I only had reverse, I backed her around to a hill, rolled down the hill because I could barely get it in neutral. So I rolled down the hill and put it back in reverse and back to the garage. So got her backed in. I don't know if I can put her on the lift like this. I've never tried to put a car on a lift backwards, and I'm not really excited about it. But we'll see. I feel like she needs to come back a little bit more, maybe a foot. I will greatly take time in measuring this out and make sure she is centered on weight distribution before I go picking her up. I unhooked the battery so the fans won't run, and I need a light. Hang on. So I believe that's my problem right there. I don't know if you can see it, but that is what they'd call column shifter linkage, but it doesn't have column shift, it's got a floor shift, but that's where the neutral safety is, and that's down there on a little bracket. You can barely see it. We'll see a better shot from underneath. I think that's where it's hitting at. So I've got it in neutral right now. So that way when I get it up on the lift, I ought to be able to grab it from underneath, kind of move it around and get an idea of where what's in the way. And if I have to, I can always unhook the linkage coming from the floor shifter, because I know it's not in the way. It's going to be the linkage on the side of the transmission or that linkage there, and I think it's that linkage there. And we'll get her figured out. The really crappy part is I could pull that linkage completely off, because my neutral safety switch didn't work when I got the car, so it wouldn't start because the neutral safety switch was bad. So I bypassed the neutral safety switch because I don't care, and the only thing that linkage does is turn my reverse lights on. Maybe. I don't know. I like having my reverse lights. Makes the car look good when you're backing up. So, oh well. Let me see if I can get this dude on the lift. I got her on the lift backwards. She seems plenty stable. I just centered her up, and I guess I'm good. But so that bar right there comes down and hits my exhaust, and he is not going to clear my exhaust at all. So I don't have a lot of options at the moment. I'm just going to remove him and see if his bracket clears the exhaust. If his bracket clears the exhaust, then I'll just leave him off for a little while. Figure it out later, or never. If it doesn't clear the exhaust, then I'll have to do some other work. Okay, so I got the bracket off. Now I can come down past the pipe. So yeah, I should be fine for driving. I just won't have any backup lights. I'll take that dude up off on the top too, and should be in good shape. Didn't it sound good? I think it sounds good. I know you guys don't like my welds, but there they are. All right, let's try this again. I can definitely feel the difference on the shifter. The shifter moves a lot easier without that extra bracket on there. And you know, I can go forward. When I had it in the air, I thought, oh yeah, I should probably, you know, since I got the steering wheel unlocked, turn the wheels and make sure they don't catch anything. They did not. So basically, I just need a little quick drive to see if the exhaust is beating, rattling anywhere, something of the sort. It's rainy out, so my car's gonna get dirtier, but you know, it's okay. That's okay. 40 pounds of oil pressure, charging, we're good. Quite a bit quieter in here. You can hear more air leaks now. There's the first little bump. Here's another little bump to rattle on. Yeah. I think the exhaust is pretty solid. That's good. Good, good, good. This is probably the nicest exhaust I've had on an old car that I did. You know, now I've took old cars to plenty of places and had them done, and they were good exhausts. But you know, me doing it, that's different. Cackle to her. She's got a little air leak, probably up at the donut gaskets, because I used composite instead of steel, because they were $2, and I'm like, you know, let's put those on there and go that route, because you know I'm on a budget. You know, and they could just need put on the lift sometime and tightened up a little bit. See no flames. I'm not on fire yet, so that's good. I don't feel a bunch of heat inside, so my mufflers aren't melting my fiberglass. So yeah, I think I'm okay. That's this is nice. I like it. I like it. She's got a nice little rumble to her. Cackles just a little bit when you rev on it, you know. I do hear a little exhaust leak somewhere. Just knocked 3 seconds off my quarter-mile time. Just kidding. It really wouldn't surprise me if she's slower, because that exhaust was so bad it just did not hold anything back. And now the exhaust, you know, does what the exhaust is supposed to do. So, anyway. All right. Elvira. New exhaust. Do it yourself. Save some cash. You know, like I said, you could use clamps the whole thing. I do have a little exhaust leak somewhere. That's going to drive me insane. It's fun. But anyway, yeah. So you could use exhaust clamps on the whole exhaust and do this all yourself. So the next time you need an exhaust and you don't have the $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever the shop wants to do it, man, do the little DIY kit. You know, I said $106 for the kit. I was $25 a piece roughly for my mufflers. So there's $156, and then I was like $70 in miscellaneous stuff. So 125-ish, 100 or 225-ish, $230. Full dual exhaust, perfect? No. Sound pretty good? Yeah. Got a little exhaust leak? I think I do. But you know, oh well. She's fine. She sounds better. I like it. Peace.